Hey, this is Kat from Red Mountain Shaman, and I share shamanic wisdom through dreams, visions, nature, synchronicities, intuition, channeling, art, music, photography, and shamanic journeys. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be talking about a few different things today. A couple things that came through in sessions, a dream that I had, and a channeled message from Merlin. So first, I wanted to talk about a past life that came up in a client session, and it was shown that she was part of the Druids and that they were taken out because the power structures that came in were very threatened by their wisdom and their magic. And so these Druids were taken out, and it was also told to us that a lot of the history of the Druids was actually inverted by the people that won or wrote this history and kind of changed things around of what truly happened. Then right after that session, a photo on my social media popped up of someone who had created this beautiful circle of stones, and there was something about the Druids mentioned on this post, and so I chose to kind of take part of that photo and show you guys how beautiful that was. That person created that on a beach. And then a couple weeks ago, someone in the comments asked me to tap into what's happening in the UK. And I usually just go with what spirit guides me to do. And I feel like it is finally time to tap into that energy. So Merlin's going to talk about that a little bit today. So another thing that I've experienced with clients is that a couple of them that are kind of in their mid to late 30s and 40s are wanting to have children still. And last night I was watching Ishmael Perez's video, and somebody asked the question in there, why are older women starting to get pregnant? And his answer was, because our DNA is changing. So in this session, this client was told not to worry about her age. So I thought that was really interesting. So I wanted to ask Merlin about this situation as well. Another thing I keep seeing lately for the last 2 weeks in the openings of the sessions that I do with my clients is spring. Like I feel like some sort of shift or energy is coming this spring. I keep seeing rabbits, fertility, butterflies, lots of greenery. So I also wanted to ask Merlin about that. And then this week, we were in the kitchen, me and my husband, and he was talking about a book that he read as a kid called The Bionic Woman. And then it reminded me of that show, The $6 Million Man. If you're a Gen Xer, you'd probably remember this show. And then there was also another show that was a follow-up to that called The Bionic Woman. And as we were talking to this, it just hit me that these shows were probably like predictive programming for transhumanist agendas and to just kind of normalize it and to get it to be cool. And I think they're still doing this with certain things. So in one episode, my husband mentioned that he remembers that the Bionic Man fought Bigfoot. So it also seems like kind of the theme of artificial technology versus nature. So that's kind of the title that I decided to make this video, the Quantum Druid versus the Bionic Human. And I asked Merlin what he has to say about that. So he's going to go into that a little bit too. The last thing I experienced this week was a dream that I had last night. And in this dream, I was in the eye of this wave, or in the tube of this wave. And I grew up in Southern California, and the surfers, all of my friends were surfers. And, you know, in the 80s, they used to call it, you know, riding the tube, and the slang tubular was like a big thing in the 80s. And so I woke up this morning after that dream, and there was an earthquake exactly at the place where I grew up in Southern California. So that was kind of interesting. So I wanted to ask a little bit about the energy of being in the tube of this wave, and if Merlin had anything to say about that. So when I tapped into his energy, I wrote down what he had to say today, and this is what I heard. Greetings, friends of the light. There are many happenings on your earth plane at this time, and as we have said in previous messages, the energy is now moving at lightning speed. It may be difficult to keep up with events, but all that is happening is for the good of humanity. I wish to speak of what is happening in the area of the United Kingdom, as I am deeply connected to this land. As you may know, the gates of Avalon are here energetically. As we enter a cycle of rebirth, we rise from the depths of our unconscious shadow. The area has long been under the rule of the Lords of Darkness. This is not just fiction, but it is reality, and what has been done under the rule of darkness shall indeed be brought to light. This country has long been secret allies with the regimes of control and fear. And now the king himself is toying as he pledges with the idea of allegiance to this regime. The people who have eyes to see have had enough. There is conflict in the streets, and there will be further protests, as this controlling regime has expanded its influence deep beyond its original borders. From my perspective, there is not only one Antichrist, but there are many, as this includes anything that is deliberately against the Christ stream of consciousness or the Christed light. And what is this Christ light? It is simply love, sovereignty, freedom of the mind, freedom of the will, connection to source, and oneness in all things. It will soon be revealed that those who rule as service to self-entities are operating in the opposite consciousness, and thus we may deem them as Antichrist. This consciousness may be within a person or an ideology, and in this case, I would say both when it comes to the ruler of England. These false kings and queens of earth shall indeed fall away, as there will be a changing of the guard, as the new kings and queens of earth begin to step up to the plate as new emissaries of this beautiful Mother Earth. A new energy within the stewardship of earth will arise as the pure in heart are granted their inheritance. This process is now playing out, and as we have said, America will be first, and all liberation ripples out globally from there. A great shift has been initiated with the 7 planetary alignment we experienced at the end of February, and further shifts in energy will continue with the solar activity through spring. Spring has always been about new beginnings, and this spring within the U.S. will be no exception as to what plays out here. It will be an example for other countries. Allotments are coming. Abundance is coming. The more that is uncovered and recovered from those who have stolen from you, the more will be returned to you. And this abundance will expand globally. So I wish to bring a message of peace to those suffering under tyrannical energies at this time. All is being accelerated at this time in order to bring liberation, prosperity, and restoration. The resources that have been stolen will be recovered and redistributed in due time, as all events are done in divine order, and we, the white magicians of Avalon, have returned in order to bring back the golden chalice and the sword of Excalibur. This, my friends, is a metaphor for your own divine magic and your own internal truth. As the solar light codes continue to pour in, this inner wisdom and spiritual magic or gifts will continue to expand. Your awareness will expand, your memories will expand, your DNA will ignite, and miracles of the body will manifest in those who are a match to this magic. What you envisioned in the mind is what can manifest in matter. I lend you my staff and my magic at this time as you continue to work on your own magic, for the kingdom of Arthur is arising once again. This is the kingdom of the righteous who have donned the armor of the Most High. those who have played many rounds of the earthly game and are now ready to find a seat at the table and enjoy the feast. May it be so. I am Merlin, he who assisted the righteous kingdom of light in days long past. I come full circle to see an end to the rulers of darkness once again, as I assist you with the organic creation of power, which comes from the great I Am, the source of all things. And this internal power of God will always win out over external technologies in the end. For there is but one great spirit, and all else is but a faint counterfeit of true source energy. What comes from source is infinite, and this is where the impossible becomes possible. Those who choose the limited power of artificial source will pale and fail in comparison to those connected to organic source of creation. As the choice is made, you will see what I speak of. The bionic human will eventually become jealous of the organic superhuman, for it is already so, as some of these beings have already played out the artificial timeline, and this is why they continue to seek out the DNA of those who have remained organic. You will soon see this play out once again as different timelines manifest within your realm. Choose wisely, and as you make this choice, remember the power of Source Creator within you. Nothing will match it. One is always growing closer to the Source or pulling away from it. For all have free will, and such are the cycles of creation. And the current cycle is experiencing an upswing as humanity reawakens to their infinite divinity and connection to the one true Creator, and Mother Earth herself begins to ascend into higher frequencies. Those who choose the artificial timelines will soon become a distant memory to the new Earth inhabitants, for she will no longer be able to sustain these artificial timelines with the continuing light codes bombarding her atmosphere. There is nothing to fear. All things are happening in divine order for the good of all, and one way or another, all things return to that source from which they came. I leave you with my perspective and invite you to test these musings out for yourself through thought, discernment, prayer, and your own connection with the divine. Until we speak again, I leave you with my deepest love and also gratitude for those who are also assisting with this great change of the ages. I wish you a good night as you continue to dream your highest dream. Thank you, Merlin. So there's a few things he mentioned in here that I decided to look up, and one of them was the Lords of Darkness. So I found out that this is a fictional book where the Dark Overlord rules England. So I think that's kind of like a metaphor of what he was talking about. And then I looked up Avalon, and this is a place of healing in Arthurian legend or mythology, which maybe it's actually real because there is some sort of a castle type thing there on a big hill, and also where the sword of Excalibur was made. And this place is associated with mystical practices and magic. And then I also felt like I wanted to look up the golden chalice that he mentioned. And I feel like this is a version of the Holy Grail. And I feel like the golden chalice or the Holy Grail is really our bodies and the magic that we can conjure within our bodies because we're connected to the divine source. So if you are connected to source, you can start developing these spiritual gifts. And I feel that maybe the Vatican and the royals have used this chalice or Holy Grail and have inverted it and used it for their own black magic. So we need to restore that and take it back. So then I asked to be given a card that had something to do with today, and specifically I asked about the spring, like what kinds of energies are coming in the spring, because I keep seeing the rabbits and all this springtime imagery when I go into journeys. And the card that I pulled was from the Shaman's Oracle by John Matthews and Will Kingham. and it's called The Dancer of Beginnings. And interestingly enough, that is exactly what Merlin mentioned in this message about having new beginnings. I am the dancer of beginnings. I dance in the spirit of fresh directions and call upon myself the embrace of the divine beings who send their blessings upon all new enterprises. Dance with me to become uplifted, shaken from stale routines, and raised up beyond what it is to be human. Divine fire fills the air around me. Move forward with me and look at the world with a renewed understanding. I catch fire from the flame of longing and initiate the accomplishment of dreams. This dancer raises his or her hands as if in greeting, embracing the moment of beginning, the point of transformation from the seed of intention to the fullness of action. The dancer of beginnings represents a transpersonal energy that bursts out of the shadows, infusing everything that surrounds it with the potential of becoming more than it is. The dancer can refresh our vision of ourselves and of our lives, helping us to see beginnings where perhaps we once saw endings, and to breathe new life and possibility, even into the familiar and the routine. And then the interpretations of this card say inspiration, starting out, new ideas, the birth of dreams, fire in the head, the pull towards the future, hopes and aspirations. And that totally resonates with me. I really do feel like we are going into a new cycle, and this is why all these old structures are collapsing, so that we can make way for new beginnings, as this card said, and as Merlin has mentioned. If you enjoy what I do here, it really helps my channel to spread the word and get into the algorithms. If you would just hit the like button, and if you could press the notification bell if you'd like to be reminded of my videos each Sunday, and also to leave a comment. If you'd like to book a session with me, just go to redmountainshaman.com, and you will find directions on how to contact me and book a session on my contact page. So I'm sending you all love, and hang in there with all these crazy things happening on our planet as everything is moving forward to, like I said, make room for the new and these new beginnings. Take care.